today we're going to be reading Slasher's Ex Listener up in here. I am so excited to read this. I've been waiting this since for like forever. Ugh, so excited. Okay. But, oh my gosh. Without further ado, let's get straight to the recap.
$100 every time you make someone laugh, or $1,000 every time you make someone cry.
I go to the playground, and boy, I'm putting my hands on every kid in that bitch.
So for the small recap that I'm trying to do, because I'm not trying to do like 5-10 minute recaps, because that's just ridiculous to me. But I'm gonna try and make it nice, short, and sweet. So basically, last time we left off, we were in the middle of an argument with basically everyone. Like Freddie, I believe even Miguel was involved, and especially Norman, and remember, we went on a date with Norman ended up telling us like, hey, like, do you say, like, we said something nice, and then he's like, is it true, are you lying to me? And we're like, no, why would we lie to you? And he's like, well, the others lie. And then he basically tells us how mean they've been to him, and blah 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 blah. So we end up getting pissed, going to the house, forcing our way through Mikael, and then basically going to Hannibal and be like, hey, what the fuck you doing, bro? That's not cool. That's not cool to bully people. And Hannibal's like, what do you mean, darling? I am pure. And then Norman and eventually Freddie get involved, because Norman was freaking out. He's like, don't you let her, you always try to act so perfect, but you're really not. You are a backstabbing liar, and then stuff like that. And then Freddie pitched in, and he's like, you know what, he's right, Hannibal's a sneaky little bitch. And then I think eventually either Miguel comes in, or we were just like flabbergasted. We're like, what? Excuse me? And then basically we're kind of like, what? He's what? What on earth? And then I think after that, Hannibal ended up asking us if we wanted to go out to the library with him, and we're like, sure. Everyone's like, what? And then we're like, listen, this could solve all our problems, we could just talk it out, you know. And then Freddie's like, you're making him feel forced to, and we're like, no, he's not. So we're going. And then he's pissed. He's fucking pissed. Norman probably pissed. I'd be equally pissed too, you know what I'm saying? Like, how stupid do we have to sound, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's a recap. I hope you guys appreciate this recap a bit more. I'm sorry the recap has been so long. It's just, I don't know, my brain is just thinking like, oh my god, I should recap at every single chapter we've read. So, or I just like to do it with how I remember, because it makes more sense in my brain, and it makes more sense transporting it out than having a total 10 minute of explaining the whole thing when you could just look it up. Or read it yourselves. Either one. Anywho, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Hi everyone, so I hope you don't mind seeing half of my face, or most of it. Apologies. I kind of made this warning a little late. But anyways, the warning, this warning's for the whole thing. Whole thing will contain drama, obviously. Second, will contain of stabbing ourselves. Not for the reason you think it is. I promise it is not for hurting ourselves. Third, it will mention of vomiting. Vomiting. And it also mentions about cannibalistic ways, or like just mentions, you know, eating humans basically. If you're not comfortable with that or anything like that, please do not watch this video. You have been warned. Discretion is advised. Chapter 63. Fierce frustration. Oh, this is bullshit. Freddie was absolutely seething by this point, unable to let the subject go. Why should we let you two be alone together? After all, didn't you and the kid already spend this afternoon on a vomit-inducing date? Please don't phrase it like, oh my, I didn't think Kruger would show his jealousy so easily. How cute. Hannibal taunted slightly, cutting into the conversation and purposely trying to rile the dream demon up a tiny bit. Jealousy? Is that what you think this is? Freddie let out a disbelieving laugh and smacked Hannibal right across the face with his left hand, causing her eyes to widen as the psychiatrist stumbled to the side a little. Oh, please, give me a fucking break. Hannibal, are you alright? You gasped out loud, alarm flashing across your face like lightning, Wiltshire placed both hands atop his shoulders to make sure that the dark-haired male was okay. Who cares? The furious slasher answered for him, enraged by Hannibal's tactics and figuring out at once what he was trying to do. He's pulling the wool over your eyes like you're a fucking child, for fuck's sake. I mean, wake up, snap out of it. I appreciate your concern, but I am perfectly fine, YN. Hannibal reassured you warmly, resting his hands above yours and giving them a soft squeeze. So take no notice of his repulsive words. Kruger's right, YN. Hannibal's playing you for a fool. You know what? And then there's his audio like, but I am not a fool. And in this case, we are yet again a fool. Mikael's next note forced you to tears, your eyes away from Hannibal in shock, not expecting the stalker to side with Freddy, someone he despised with the utmost of hatred. Let's just go visit the library, you uncomfortably muttered, taking Hannibal's hand and moving towards the front door. And yeah, you still going with him. And clearly, when they literally shoved it in your face, we still went with him. Oh my god. Listen, I'm a sib. But come on now. Come on. Come on now. Ay. Were you even listening to me? Freddy grasped your shoulder and shook it, frustrated by your stubborn behavior as he tried to switch your mindset. He's painting us to be the bad guys, what's placing himself in the light. It's not that hard to figure out, YN. They think I'm playing you. How disgusting. Hannibal sighed and wrapped an arm around your waist, pulling you closer to his side whilst raising his eyebrows. I would never do such an unpleasant thing. Oh, please, give me a fucking Listen, right now, all I want to do is go to the library. You interrupted Freddy sharply, deciding to simply shove him backwards. So, just leave us alone and let us go already. Why don't you and I head out now, and we'll return later, when things have perhaps calmed down to some degree. Hannibal innocently suggested, certainly amused by your sudden act of hostility towards the other slashers. This and we're dumb enough to fall for it. Oh my lord. Gladly. You glared at Freddy and Mikael before leaving the said household, feeling tremendously on edge yourself. Please, allow me to apologize for their actions in advance. Hannibal tenderly spoke, his mellow attitude throwing you off as soon as the two of you walked away from the building. Like I've previously mentioned, we don't think and act the same way others do. We're different. And then basically this is back then of us arguing like you guys are just completely built different for real. And then then she was talking like with Hannibal about that. Anyways, anyway, believe me, I noticed. Sarcasm shone through your tone as you stared at the ground, too exasperated to look at him in the eye. Do you think I'm blind? Do you? Of course the five of you are different. You're criminals. You're psychopaths. You're not like me in the slightest. That was a bit cruel, don't you think, YN? Oh, so it wasn't cruel for you to almost kill her mother? Yeah, didn't think so, mister. I know you aren't talking. I know the fuck you ain't talking. Oh my goodness. He covered his mouth and chuckled mysteriously, growing even more amused while he stopped walking. You're certainly not planning on pulling any punches, now are you, my dear? And, you know, I'm not stupid. I could see that there was another reason why you wanted to visit the library with me. You brought up the topic with a tired sigh, not walking anymore either, as you tried to compose yourself or recompose yourself. It was because of the others. Because of the others? And how do you mean? What do you mean exactly? Hannibal angelically asked, still shooting you one of those sweet fake smiles. Because I visited Jason at the Camp Crystal Lake 3 or 4 days ago. I hung out with Mikael at the local park yesterday. Freddy visits my dreams frequently, and Norman went out on a date with me today. You pointed out sternly. You say it's only the others who are jealous. But is that really true? Besides, I don't think you're being extremely honest here, now are you? Like I brought up a few days ago, your psychology classes have taught you well. Hannibal complimented a second time, acting rather pleasant as you both carried on walking in the direction of the library. I'm surprised you were able to pick up on it so quickly, though. How irritated I was. How inferior I was beginning to feel compared to the others. Boy, we know you lying. you, oh my goodness. You were? You stumbled over your words. Wilt's aggravation from earlier faded away a little, unable to believe his words. But why would you feel so inferior? It's not like I was planning on ignoring you or anything. Your next words caused the psychiatrist to stop moving completely, the dark-haired male forcing you to stop via your wrist as well. Hannibal? You carefully called his name, concerned over his sudden mood switch. Oh, my sweet, lovely YN. I don't think you could ignore any one of us, even if you wanted to. His pleasant tone dipped into a darker and more devilish one instead, using his other hand to cradle the opposite side of your face and stroke your skin with his thumb obsessively. How did we even get on this topic? You frowned in confusion, your cheeks growing pink as a result of his seductive touching. But by all means, go right ahead. Hannibal flashed a supple smirk and dropped your wrist, now cupping both sides of your face. I'd be extremely entertained to see how far that got you exactly. Hey, I never said I was going to ignore you, you anxiously protested. Well then. He reverted back to his polite attitude and gave one of his friendly smiles, running his fingers through your hair while doing so. That's a relief. After all, I really do enjoy your sweet, refreshing company. Right, you stammered, blushing even harder, both because of bashfulness and equal embarrassment. Anyway, why don't we just keep heading towards the library and just a few more seconds. Hannibal softly murmured against your lips, holding either side of your head, whilst he gave you an incredibly delicate kiss. A few more seconds like this. I think about you all day, every day. You are my everything, so please become mine. I forgot how to say it. Lino, I'm sorry, I don't speak Italian. Hannibal? I don't understand. If you wanted to spend time with me so badly, then why didn't you just ask sometime? For instance, you could have always joined me and Norman today. Girl, it's a date. He can't be along. The fuck? It's not like I would ever have turned you away or rejected you. You reminded him with a bewildered expression, taken back by his sudden Italian romance and behavior. I suppose it just boils down to the fact that I possess too much pride to lower myself down to their pitiful levels. He thought out loud casually, not showing any care or consideration toward the other killers whatsoever. Too much pride? Their pitiful levels? He defensively quoted, now curious about discovering what it was that would make such a pleasant psychiatrist stoop to such low insults. And just what's that supposed to mean, huh? Do you really hate them that much? I mean, they are your roommates, aren't they? Hannibal just stood there, his hands still stroking either side of your face whilst he acted insanely possessive. When it comes to you, mia princesa, I wish every day that those four would, quite frankly, just disappear. It might make me look selfish, greedy even, but if it gets me what I truly want, then I think I'll carry on wishing for that. Are you serious right now? Chapter 64. Extreme embarrassment. And then, I already said that? Your eyes widened in shock after hearing that. Frozen to the spot. Whilst you tried to ignore what he just told you. His courteous character was really just an act. He couldn't care less if anyone lived or died. So, as long as you were in his sights, this just wasn't possession or obsession. This was some seriously insane infatuation. Lack of empathy, lack of guilt, lack of remorse, fake charm, acting insincere. Those people. The ones that rarely show emotion. The people that share those traits. They're what you call psychopaths. Is that what you are? Are you one of those people? Are you a psychopath? You are really a psychopath. Your voice shook slightly as you weakly whispered that out, raising both hands while attempting to push him away by the shoulders. But Hannibal was much quicker than you, his movements like lightning as he gripped your wrist and held them in place, flashing you a smug smirk right after. A psychopath you can't help but fall for. He spoke in an incredibly condensing tone and behaved completely different from his usual polite personality. Trust me, I've taken note of your true feelings during all this. Wait, what? You stammered with scarlet cheeks, your heart pounding once you eternally panicked. And just what are you implying? Your heartbeat only grew faster as his thumb softly skimmed over the top of your wrist skin, his actions immensely intimate and flirtatious. I'm pretty sure I looked this up. Is it O mio bel petalo, right? Petalo? Surely you must know what I'm saying by now. Hannibal angelically remarked, using your wrist to pull you closer to him and lean his head against yours. I'm saying the barrier that you built between us all isn't working. Barrier? You exclaimed loudly, now at a complete loss for words. Hold on, I wish you'd just accept it already. The psychiatrist's lips brushed against your earlobe as he passionately murmured that into your ear, clearly trying to change your mind. After all, unlike Kruger, I would never cheat on you, and unlike the others, I would never attempt to end your life. So I'd appreciate very much so if you would just consider it an actual relationship with me, and only me. Boy, but you try to kill my mom. I want to hear it. I want to hear it full. And you use the help of the others. I want to hear it. Anyway, Hannibal. Your blush only grew brighter, too embarrassed by this point to deny anything. He knew. He knew everything. The psychiatrist had read your emotions and feelings like a freaking textbook. It's just, the library will close soon, so, of course, my apologies, mi amor. I was just so enamored by you that the library became completely and utterly irrelevant to me. Hannibal innocently commented, pulling away as he held your hand and entered the library with you instead. So, what did you want to come to the library for anyway? You wondered awkwardly, feeling timid whilst you avoided his glance entirely. I mean, we could have spent time together back at the house, you know. True. He pleasantly agreed, taking a step toward the culinary section as you both carried on speaking. But it seemed more refreshing if it's just the two of us were available to spend time together without all that commotion and chaos. I can understand from where you're coming from. You dipped your head and nodded, seeing his point of view. But don't you think all of you are behaving rather ridiculous? I have to disagree with you there. Mikata? We've each all had our fair share of spending time with you, have we not? I don't think that's rather ridiculous at all. On the contrary, I believe that's actually rather reasonable, don't you? The dark-haired male gave his opinion as politely as he possibly could, reaching out for a book whilst he finished speaking. All I'm saying is, you stopped yourself after noticing the cookbook, now growing tremendously curious as to why he came all the way to the library only to pick up that. Hold up. You wanted to visit the local library with me just so you could borrow a book full of recipes and different ways to prepare meals? All of a sudden, Hannibal's smile seemed to darken, almost as if your question amused him in some way or the other. You would be correct in that assumption, my lovely YN, he airily replied, showing you the title of said culinary book before tucking it under his arm. Now, is there any type of book you'd like to take out from the library? You bit your lip and turned around, wandering out of the culinary aisle, whilst looking for certain storybooks and paperbacks. I guess that one is YN! A familiar voice made you jump, stopping from gasping from grasping a book in the process. Long time no see, girl. Laura? You gasp in complete and utter surprise, not expecting the black-colored, curly girl friend of yours to be standing there waiting for you to notice her. I don't understand. What are you doing here? She got discharged from the hospital earlier today. Isn't that awesome? Amber appeared by her side and hugged Laura's sides lightly. Candace also standing next to them both. I'll say, oh my god. You clapped your hands together and gave them all an individual hug, overjoyed by them showing up. But are you sure it's alright for you to be walking around like this? I mean, I'll be fine. Besides, I wanted to see if you were okay after all that drama and... Laura trailed off when she noticed Hannibal behind you. All three girls starting to quietly giggle amongst themselves. Wait, what? You asked them in bewilderment, frowning while you flashed a confused glance toward Hannibal. Then your eyes widened. What did they think? Oh, nothing. Amber brushed a lock of her hair behind her ear and stifled another giggle, throwing a playful look at Candace and Laura. Just wondering what you're doing hanging out at the local library with a guy. Hold on. Wait a second. It isn't like that. For real, it isn't like that. It is like that. It's very much like that. You hurriedly protested, hating the way your cheeks had already grown pink. Sure it isn't. Laura joined in with a smirk. It's really nice to meet you. Candace ignored the other two's mischievous antics and decided to warmly greet Hannibal. Please excuse them. My name is Candace. This is Laura. This is Amber, and that's Laura. I hate you both, you muttered under your breath at the two of them, relieved at how civil Candace was behaving. Thank goodness. The pleasure is all mine. My name is Dr. Hannibal Lecter, but please, just refer to me as Hannibal. The psychiatrist introduced himself in a massively friendly fashion, sliding back into his charming facade as he left his superiority in the shadows. So, are you two, dating? Laura quizzed right off the bat, her cheerful attitude causing Candace to sigh while Amber merely gave another giggle. Laura! You exclaimed in alarm, silently panicking at what Hannibal might think about your friends or how they were acting. Or perhaps this is one of the roommates you were telling us about. Amber brought up with a casual smile, choosing to give you a break and cut you some slack. And then this is a back then of when they were talking about her moving, and aka Hannibal forcing her to move in with them. Pretty much. Yes, you answered quickly. He is. We were just he just needed to pick up a few things. So, come on now, mi amor. There's no need to be embarrassed. Hannibal took a hold of your hand and gently raised it up to his lips, delicately pressing his lips on top of your fingers as he purposely acted seductive. Did you really intend to hide a relationship from your friends? Oh my, I certainly didn't expect you to be so unfeeling towards them. You were hiding this from us? Laura bursted out worriedly, looking a little hurt as the two of your friends shot you a painful looks. No, I wasn't. You loudly denied, snatching up Hannibal's wrist and tugging him towards the library desk, away from your friends. I'll explain all of this through a Skype call later. I promise you guys. You better! And Amber yelled after you, as the dark-haired girl raising her eyebrows as Candace gave a gentle wave, and Laura crossed her arms with a flick of her head. For real, they're like, how dare you? The audacity is real. The audacity is real. The caucasity is real, Hannibal. How rude. Alright, y'all, we is in chapter 65, Emotional Exasperation. Why on earth would you say something like that to my friends? You complained with a cold glare, waiting for him to check out the cookbook and explain his foolish actions. I mean, there was absolutely no need for them to know that. Know what? Hannibal calmly asked, thanking the librarian before he took back the book and faced you once more. You went from frustrated to flustered in a matter of seconds, now feeling far too embarrassed to finish your response. About you and me. Stop it. And then this is the part where It's like it's a little flashback, like where it says I'll teach you all, was back at Camp Crystal Lake to stop them from all fighting. So yeah, that please do relax, mi tesoro. It's not like I told them about the others and how you were dating more than one person. He cleverly pointed out, both of you now heading out out of the library's exit. That's not the point! You groaned anxiously, attempting to regain your composure, whilst also staying calm and collected. The point is that I didn't want my friends to know about my relationship with any of you. The psychiatrist only shot you an amused smile, obviously enjoying your stressed out state and how worried you seem to be. Wow. Asshole. I personally don't see the problem. Angelo mio. In fact, I find it rather... Wait a minute. Michael? You interrupted Hannibal with a surprised look, spotting the stalker standing outside nearby some trees. I don't understand. What are you doing here? People might see you! The pale-masked male merely ignored your question and moved directly in front of you, wrapping one arm around your waist while the other hand cupped the side of your face. His fingers were possessively running through your hair as his breathing became heavier. Your cheeks changed to a crimson color, unable to control how hesitant you now seemed to be. The way Mikael was holding you, the way his fingers were softly stroking the strands of your hair. It's almost too much. But for some reason, you just couldn't pull away, no matter how much you wanted to. His dark brown orb stared into your eyes obsessively, hugging you even tighter as he now grew immensely infatuated. He's got a point, Mikael. Wine's got a point, Mikael. Hannibal sighed and shook his head, reaching out to touch the other man's shoulder. You're acting incredibly idiotic here. Hang on, I never said he was idiotic. You hurriedly protested, breaking away from both of them and holding your arms awkwardly. All I meant was, before you could finish, Mikael slipped his hand into his boiler suit pocket and gripped the top of his knife, clearly feeling threatened. Typical. Hannibal rolled his eyes and held his book underneath his arm, bringing out his pocket knife as a way to defend himself instead. And here I thought you knew how to keep yourself out of sight when it came to staying hidden in public. Shame. Stop trying to rile him up, you stiffly retaliated, defending Mikael as you tightened your arms and eyed Hannibal with a cold expression. I can see what you're doing. It's pretty obvious. Oh, you can you? Hannibal's grin darkened as he mischievously replied, growing even more entertained by your innocent state. How interesting. Mind filling me in, dear? Mikael, furious about how condescending Hannibal was being, grabbed the dark-haired male by the throat and held him high in the air, angling his head to the side as he started strangling said psychiatrist. Mikael, stop it! You cried out in alarm, panicking whilst you glanced around and noticed people were beginning to become more aware of you three. However, the stalker couldn't care less. His only objective now is being to end the other man's life with his iron grasp. Mikael! You widely snapped, your fuming temper causing Mikael to turn his attention over to you rather than Hannibal. Put Hannibal down right now! Do you understand me? Do you? Narrowing his eyes, the silent stalker slowly lowered Hannibal back to the ground and released him, disliking how you'd taken his side. Thank you, you stiffly spoke, flicking your head and clenching your fist fiercely. Now, let's go. If we keep standing around like this, people are going to carry on staring at you guys. Let's hurry up and go home. Home? My oh my. I believe that's the first time you've ever called our residence your home before. The smart male retaliated smoothly, his remark causing you to stop dead in your tracks. It's not that big of a deal. You avoided his gaze while your blush darkened, suddenly feeling extremely awkward. I suppose not. He wryly chuckled, using his thumb and forefinger to tip your chin up ever so slightly, his other hand curling around your wrist as he behaved unbelievably intimate. Before you could respond, Mikael seized your other wrist and tugged you closer to his chest, further away from Hannibal, which he rested his head on top of your own. Though, it still doesn't change the fact that it pleases me, the psychiatrist added lightly, his adoration slowly slipping through the cracks of his affection. Right. You raised your eyebrows a little bit, and then broke away from both of them, wanting nothing more than to go home. Anyway, we should head back. It's getting late. I agree. So, Mikael, if you wouldn't mind acting so moronic. What does moronic mean? We gonna look up what moronic means, because now I'm curious. Bro really called him foolish and stupid. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Oh my lord.
Moronic.
He's like, you're so moronic. How dare you? Oh my goodness. Anyways, back to the story. And I just magically appeared. Anyway, damn, Hannibal. Fancy word there. Fancy wording that Leslie discovered. Haha. So, yeah. Anyways. Hannibal gestured away from the stalker and therefore riled him up again. The pale-faced male, merely wishing he could just rip Hannibal to shreds. Stop! You called out wildly, purposely moving in the middle of both killers. I'm tired of this. I'm not that stupid, Hannibal. Believe me, it wasn't my intent to make you feel like you were, he gently told you, caressing both sides of your cheeks as the psychiatrist attempted to calm you down. Nor was it my intention to make you feel like you were ignorant, my dear. You say my psychology classes have taught me well, but... You paused for a split second as you hesitated, reaching a difficult decision. I don't think that's true. Not when it comes to you, at least. I'm not naive. But the others were right. And then, basically, it was... And then this is him flashback when he tried to, like, blackmail her. Also tried to play the others as more dangerous than him. And all of that, you know. Crazy. Please, just trust me, mi amor. Hannibal held both of your hands in his and kissed one of them. Oh, yeah. His pleasant persona fading as he became somewhat possessive. I can't. You shook your head and carried on walking home. Mika shadowing your footsteps while you realized Hannibal was just as dangerous as the others. I can't trust you anymore. I'm sorry. And you trust the others? He wondered in an offhand fashion, flashing you a slightly sad smile whilst also appearing by your side. Norman tried to strangle you and Kruger gave you love bites. Don't act like you're superior to them, you retorted sharply, avoiding his gaze and approaching the house. Your psychopathic behavior is both cunning and crafty, not to mention manipulative. Damn right. The dream demon's voice called from the doorway, his expression looking extremely exasperated as he leaned against the front door with his arms folded. Oh. Chapter 66. The Sickening Truth. Freddy, what are you... I came to warn you, the burnt slasher darkly remarked, watching the three of you walk up to the doorway as you eyed him with confusion. About this little shit here. How crude. The Hannibal released a sigh and rolled his eyes, raising his eyes while the dream demon became even more irritated. Warn me? Why? You wondered suspiciously, ignoring Hannibal when he tried to place his hand on your shoulder and instead moving closer to Freddy. What's going on here? He's trying to drive a wedge between us, whined Dearest. The psychiatrist spoke with another shake of his head, looking relatively annoyed by this point, like he always does, remember? Oh, fuck off. Freddy swore in frustration, swiping at the doorway with his knifed hand and scraping the metal blades down the wallpaper. She's starting to see right through you, you bastard. Freddy's right. Norman nervously appeared next to him, clenching his fist while he glared at Hannibal. You do nothing but lie. Mother doesn't even trust you anymore. You can't actually be taking them seriously. And then something about gorgeous or pretty or something like that in Italian. I'm the only one who hasn't tried to kill you after all, Hannibal breezily mentioned. You stayed silent for a few seconds, your eyes flickering from Hannibal to Freddy and then finally Norman. Mikael, what do you think about all this? Just like go straight to Mikael. What do you think about it, bro? For real. You asked anxiously, curious as to what the silent stalker had to say. A moment or two passed before Mikael handed you a note, his handwritten message freaking you out. Kruger's right. He's nothing but a dirty liar. See? Even the stalker agrees with me, and that pale-faced freak hates me.
Freddie viciously snapped, Norman coldly nodding in agreement while you hesitated. I mean, they're beginning to make more and more sense, Hannibal. You unhappily replied, holding the note with a worried expression. From the psychotic tendencies, all the way down to the living with the all the way down to lying about the others. You're manipulative, calculating, dishonest. You throw others under the bus like it's nothing. They're not saints either, my dear. Hannibal chuckled deviously, curling his hand around your wrist and pulling you back a little bit further to him. Mikhail's murdered an insane amount of people. Kruger slaughtered a ton of innocent children. Jason and Norman... Hey! Norman wildly protested, stomping his foot and gritting his teeth. I can't control what I do. Let her go, dick. The demonic male hissed hatefully, grabbing your other hand and yanking you forcibly out of Hannibal's grasp. She doesn't belong to you. Well then, going by your logic, that means she doesn't belong to you either, Hannibal cleverly pointed out, twirling his pocket knife between his fingers as he started to internally panic. Fucking smartass. Freddie growled, holding his sharp claws out as he wrapped his other hand around your waist possessively. I bet you haven't even told her about your filthy cannibalistic ways yet. Now have you? His words caused you to freeze up, fear flooding your veins while chills ran down your spine. Cannibalistic ways? Oh, hold on, what do you mean? You couldn't even finish your sentence, suddenly feeling sick to your stomach. There's no way. Oh, you haven't told her. The dream demon sneered devilishly, amusement filling his features as he watched fear spread across your face. How cute. Leave it alone, Kruger. Hannibal coldly warned, his hold on his knife tightening while he wondered what to do. Your mind flashed back to a certain memory, and that made you stiffen up even more. And basically, flashback, it's all the way back to when Hannibal made a meal, and she tried it, and we said it's delicious, it looks delicious, and blah, 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 blah. And we asked what it was, he told us, and then, yeah, it was back then when he cooked for us. You're joking, right? You stammered in a horrifying manner. Please tell me he's joking. Oh, this should be good. Freddie grinned evilly, giving your waist a soft squeeze before glancing at Hannibal smugly. My sweet, sweet YN, you have to understand. No, you shakily whispered, thinking back to the dinner you had on Thursday night and breaking away from Freddie entirely. You're telling me that the dinners you prepared for me were I swear we were going to tell you, Norman told you desperately. I swear, we just didn't know how to... That wasn't prime rib! You shrieked with a shocked cry, backing away from them all completely and feeling rising nausea. Why do you think I never join in their eating, dollface? Because Hannibal's diet is fucking disgusting. Freddie insulted maliciously, your sickness slowly growing to be too much and your head becoming lightheaded. Wyan, are you feeling alright? Hannibal gently questioned, concern slipping through his psychotic cracks as he took note of her expression. I can see that you're not emotionally, but I meant physically. You couldn't even form a proper sentence due to the fact that not only were you covering your mouth, but you were also now feeling tremendously sick. I need to use the bathroom, so if you'll excuse me. Once you said that, you spun around and fled to the bathroom, vomit ripping up your throat as you threw up in the toilet. Mikhail, half worried and half obsessed, shadowed your footsteps and stayed behind you, staring at you with complete and utter possession. I am disgusted. You mumbled miserably, humiliation taking control of your mood. Does this mean he's going to devour me or something? The white masked male shook his head and then wrote another message on his trusty notepad, obviously wanting to calm you down. Hannibal only kills rude and the ill-mannered. He would never kill someone like you. Then again, Kruger was warning you for a reason. He was warning you so you wouldn't stay in the dark. Tell me he didn't. And yeah, that's how we found out that Hannibal is a cannibal. Hannibal is a cannibal. Dun 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 dun. Okay, anyway. Chapter 67. Reality can crumble too. Whew. Again, you couldn't finish. but Mikael picked up on what you wanted to ask almost immediately. No, he's too smart to do something like that. He knows how much that would hurt you once you found out. Damn. Thank goodness. Breathing out, you hurriedly washed your face and nuzzled into Mikael's chest a minute later. Mikael, of course, cherishing your show of affection, and tightly wrapped his arms around you, infatuated by your very being. He rested his head atop yours and enjoyed your embrace, satisfied when he noticed that the other three had appeared in the bathroom's doorway. How sweet. What amused Mikael even more was that Norman looked jealous, Freddy was gaze filled with frustration, and Hannibal's expression was filled with slight irritation. His ignorant attitude grew when he locked eyes with the dream demon, both hating the other still. Wayne, are you okay? Norman stuttered nervously, clasping both hands to his chest while he awaited your answer and watched you from the doorway. Of course she isn't, dumb nuts. I mean, for fuck's sake, eating people isn't on many people's lists nowadays. Freddy shot back sharply, annoyed by how close you were to Mikael as you slowly recovered. Both of you quiet down. After all, we wouldn't even be in this mess if Kruger hadn't spilled an incredibly important secret. One that needed to be explained in a delicate fashion. Hannibal's appearance made your nausea rise again slightly. Your fear stemming from the cannibalistic psychiatrist, whilst you clung to the silent stalker. So, you stared at them anxiously, not wanting to agitate your roommates in any way, shape, or form. I think they're already agitated, so it doesn't matter at this point. You're a cannibal? Such a tasteless way of rephrasing it. I prefer the term ethical butcher, my darling YN. Hannibal angelically informed you, trying to keep the situation serene, whilst also wanting to win back your affection. Ethical butcher. Really? Your voice dripped with sarcasm as Freddy released a mocking laugh, definitely finding your tone and change of mood to be somewhat funny. My apologies, YN. I know that I most likely should have told you before Kruger had the chance to. The polite psychiatrist softly apologized, taking a few steps toward you and kissing the top of your hand. Please forgive me. Forgive you? You coldly replied, half laughing a second later and moving away from Mikael altogether. Instead, moving your face towards Hannibal and the others, with false courage, narrowing your eyes. Do you want me to forgive you? Uh-oh. I think you broke her. The dream demon muttered in his ear mischievously, appearing right next to him while you eternally snapped. Well, let's see. You clenched your fist and took a deep breath, eyeing Hannibal and the others with an extremely serious expression. You lied to me. You blackmailed me. You injured my mom. You manipulated me. You kept me in the dark half the time. And finally, you fed me human meat, which, quite frankly, made me sick. And you want me to forgive you? No, I can't. Why, mi amor, I understand. You're scared, you're stressed out, you're upset, but please, I'm going to bed right now. You suddenly bursted out, pushing past everyone as you headed towards your bedroom and shut the door firmly behind you, locking it. But why in? Norman trailed off tearfully, leaning against the other side and trying to get in. We usually sleep together. Softly crying, you sat against the bedroom door and hugged your knees, now feeling tremendously scared yourself. Well, I just need some time alone after what I've been through, all right? You strangely ordered. We understand. Hannibal's charming tone floated through the door, his gentle attitude plainly trying to play on your feelings. Don't we, everyone? But come along now, Norman. The dark-haired male grasped the younger boy's wrist and forcefully steered him away from the door, Hannibal pausing to say something to you. I have no idea what that word is. I think it means good night or something like that. We gonna look it up. Y'all, this is what you do. So y'all take a screenshot of this, right? Then you go to your camera thingy. Then you go ahead and just kind of do this little magician thingy right here, so you don't have to type in none of this out, right? Then I like to copy this. Then I like to go to my search engine and I like to do this in English. In English. And honestly, it says, "Good night, my love. You're my everything." That is so cute.
Buonanotte, amore mio, sei il mio tutto.
I'm not saying all that, but it's "Good night, my love. You're my everything." See, I told you guys. Anyways, back to the story. Now magically came to me. Now magically we're back. Anyway, he spoke sweetly, his footsteps fading away from said door a few seconds later. Yeah, sure I am. You heartbrokenly muttered, resting your head atop your knees while you released a depressed sigh. Why wouldn't I be your everything? It's not like you lied to me repeatedly and kept me in the dark or blackmailed me, both me and my mother. Screw this, I'm going to sleep. You changed your clothes and slipped into some comfier pajamas, so upset by this point that you just went straight to sleep and passed out. Surprising. The dream demon hummed deviously, materializing into the dream world almost at once. I, for one, thought you'd be back to taking the hospital again. What, did you forget or something? I just... Excuse me. You didn't know what to say. Your legs giving out from beneath you as you semi-passed out. No words coming to mind. After all, what was there to say? His words from last week were right. He was right. And then this is him arguing with the saying cannibal, and we're like, huh? Anyways, luckily the dream demon caught you before you hit the ground. His movement speed faster than usual once he grew even more amused. So cute. He purred possessively. But you don't have to fall for me, baby girl. That was terrible. You wickedly commented, gripping his sweater as you tiredly hid your face in it. I'm impressed, though. Didn't think you'd actually have the courage to go up against that bitch. Freddie wickedly chuckled, running his gloved hand through your hair and personally enjoying your exhausted state. Is that a fact? You sarcastically retorted, snapping out of it and deciding to push him away by his shoulders. Though, unfortunately, his reaction was much quicker than yours. The dream demon stopping via your wrist and smirking darkly. Oh, I don't think so. He muttered in a sickly sweet tone. His condescending manner starting to get on your nerves as you tugged your hands back. Screw this. I'm choosing my own path. After that, you unexpectedly stomped on his foot and broke free of his grasp, slapping him just like you did on Tuesday evening. That's what I'm doing. You really shouldn't have done that, Freddie evilly remarked, raising his own gloved hand and darkening his sinister grin. And what exactly do you think you're doing, young lady? I'm choosing not to be stupid this time around. You fiercely shot back, envisioning a knife and gripping it tightly. That, however, only made the spring-wood slasher laugh, the Birdman finding your antics somewhat amusing. What do you plan to fight me now? He dryly questioned, gazing at you with an insanely hungry glint in his eye. Do you even know how to use that knife, sweetheart? Yeah, actually, I do. Watch me. I don't want to watch this. You answered arrogantly, cutting the knife to the side of your arm and causing scarlet drops of blood to drip down your skin. Because your plan wasn't to fight him. No, your plan was to wake up. Stop your arms bleeding and then head towards Camp Crystal Lake to go visit Jason. But, Mikael? You accidentally bump into the pale-faced stalker after opening your bedroom door, not expecting the silent killer to just be standing there. What are you doing still up? It's the middle of the night. I could ask you the same thing. Weren't you supposed to be sleeping? Well, you see, he handed you a second note before you could even answer the first one, this one being filled with questions. And what happened to your arm? Kruger did that to you, didn't he? No, actually, I did this to myself. It's a long story. It's a long story, man. Ay. Anyways, chapter 68, leaving the house late. And not gonna lie, though, before we start, that is actually a smart idea. I wouldn't want to cut my arm, though, but it is what it is. Strangely enough, Mikael simply stared at you before holding your other hand, giving it a comforting squeeze, and then calmly pulling you in the direction of the bathroom. Thank you. You thank the quiet killer, awkwardly appreciating his assistance. For your help earlier, and for your help now, I mean, it means a lot to me. Mikael didn't reply, the silent slasher only throwing you a soft shake of the head, and guiding you towards the bathroom. Then, once you were both inside the room, he sat you on top of the toilet seat and started dabbing at your arm, making sure to clean the droplets of blood from your skin with a lukewarm washcloth. It stung a little, but the pain was necessary. Because what else could you have done? There wasn't any other way to escape the dream demon without thinking outside the box, which was smart. And you were too tired to deal with his wicked antics right now. So you bit your tongue and let him wrap a bandage around the sharply cut slash. After that, you merely thanked the stalker for helping you and headed towards your bedroom, planning on getting dressed. Why are you getting dressed? It's the middle of the night. Mikhail shoved the notepad in your direction before forcing you to stop grabbing clothes, his fingers curling around your wrists and gripping you tightly. Well, after that encounter with Freddy, I figured I could really use a breather, so I'm gonna go and visit Camp Crystal Lake, to see Jason. You take a deep breath in and explained your intentions with slight exhaustion, taking your clothes out of his grasp and carrying on with what you were doing. So please, don't do this. But obviously, Mikhail shook his head and scribbled down his silent jealousy, clearly resenting the fact that you were even considering leaving and going to the camp and seeing the Crystal Lake Killer. You're not going. You're not allowed to go. Give me those clothes and go back to bed now. No. You threw no. Oh my god, that sounds like the worst no ever. Anyway, you threw Mikhail an icy glare and shook your head, placing them on your bed to get ready. Let's get one thing right. You're not my father. I agree to live here on one condition, is that I maintain my freedom, and that's final. Stop treating me like I'm nothing but a little kid, Mikhail. The quiet male begrudgingly shook his head and backed away, leaving your bedroom to let you get dressed. Feeling low-key proud, you quickly put on your clothes and hurriedly brush your hair, cleaning the sleep out of your eyes before leaving the room yourself. Unsurprisingly, the stalker was patiently waiting for you, obviously wanting to stick right by your side whilst you left for Camp Crystal Lake. Holding a sigh, you allowed him to join your side, Mikhail cradling each side of your face with his hands and caressing your cheeks for a moment before pulling away. Why and where are you going? Norman's voice called out from his own bedroom. The dark-haired teenager standing in the doorway and watching you with worried eyes. You're not leaving us, are you? I never said I was leaving. You huffed in frustration, feeling more and more on edge. So please stop thinking that. Please. Then may I ask where you're going in the middle of the night, dearest Ryan? Hannibal's smooth tone cut into the conversation with curiosity, making you want to curse under your breath, to go visit Jason, you muttered, while pushing a stray lock of hair behind your ear. I had a bad dream, so I just thought to walk around the lake might be somewhat therapeutic. Did Freddy bother you again, my dear? Hannibal shook his head sympathetically, his eyes filled with concern while it's approaching you directly. Oh, and just look what Kruger has done to your arm. The psychiatrist placed the blame on the dream demon almost immediately, inspecting the bandaged part of your arm while delicately holding it, said limb between the palm of his hands. What did he do? Norman asked in alarm, worry flashing across his face as he panicked on your behalf. Freddy didn't do anything. I did this to myself, you admitted wearily, releasing a groan and causing all three to look at you with a tremendous confusion. To yourself? Hannibal slowly quoted, releasing your arm and running his fingers out through your hair instead. But what on earth would cause you to hurt yourself in such a dramatic manner? To wake myself up, you answered truthfully, your heart hammering from the sweetness of his actions, and also stressing the stress of the situation. Sometimes you have to think outside the box to outsmart others. Indeed. The dark-haired male psychopath agreed with a smile, leaning his head against yours whilst he acted somewhat intimate. Exactly what I'd expect from someone as intelligent, as intuitive as you. Oh, thanks. Now feeling flustered, you mumbled your embarrassed reply and avoided his gaze completely, trying your best to keep your composure and stay assertive. Now, would you mind awfully if I perhaps joined you on this therapeutic walk around Camp Crystal Lake? Hannibal politely requested, his tone remaining respectful as you suppressed a sigh. After all, wasn't Mikhail already joining you? That's fine. You dipped your head and nodded while Norman grew excited, the happy-go-lucky boy clapping his hands together cutely. Mikhail's joining too, so I suppose there's no harm in it becoming a group trip, right? No. You're really stupid. Oh, can I come too, pretty people, please? He desperately begged, clasping your hands between the both of his and holding it against his chest with a huge amount of affection and hope glittering across his eyes. Sure, why not? You responded tiredly, the awkwardness in the air rising as he then flung his arms around you. Hey, what are you? Yeah, this is going to be so much fun! Norman exclaimed brightly, nuzzling into your cleavage and making you blush a crimson color. Bruh, I'm so sorry. My dad's dog scared me. Oh my gosh, bro. Did y'all hear that? I know y'all heard that. I'm gonna go check on her. I'll be right back. So I just checked on her and she's fine. She just came right as soon as I said I want to go check on her. She's okay, y'all. Anyways, continuing with the story. It's really just meant to be a relaxing walk, you hesitantly explained, your heartbeat wildly out of control, whilst you hugged the overjoyed male back. Oh, I understand. He pulled away a minute or two afterwards, but his chauffeur smile only proved to you that he didn't get the message you were sending to at all, of course. Why don't you two go and get ready then? Mika, I can just, wait here. You decided in a drained manner, leaning up against the wall as you stifled a yawn and shut your eyes for a second, praying that things would go smoothly. Sounds like a lovely plan, mi amor. Hannibal flashed you a sweet smile of his own before lightly pressing his lips on top of your hand, his charming attitude messing with not only your head but your heart too. I can't wait, Norman happily exploded, not seeming tired in the slightest as he bounced back towards his room and behaved like a little kid would. Be right back. I too will return shortly. Shooting you another one of his pleasant looks, Hannibal also departed to change clothes, leaving you all alone with Mikael. Does Freddy usually leave the dream world during nighttime? He asked Mikael timidly, wondering if the burnt male would be angry of your actions or not. You think Kruger's angry with you or for outsmarting him. It's not like that's a hard thing to do exactly. For real. You calling him stupid? I just don't want to cause any more drama between you guys, that's all. You uncomfortably protested, defending your question and explaining yourself at the same time. Just no more unnecessary fighting or anything. Mika didn't respond to that at first, the mute male marveling about how wholesome your mindset was and how kind-hearted you were, before using his worn-out notepad. God, I love you, he wore with overwhelming obsession, wrapping his arms around your body and burying his pale face into the crook of your neck soon after. That is cute. Oh my goodness. Alright, y'all. So I'm going to end it right here because, we've read a little bit long. I'm not going to lie. I cut this like multiple times. But anyways, what do you guys think so far? Do you guys expect that? Did you guys expect that? Honestly. Also, what do you guys think is going to happen next? And did you expect that Hannibal was going to pull that shit, or we were gonna actually confront Hannibal about it? Let me know in the comments down below, because honestly, for me, I did not expect that. Because I thought, we were gonna be like not telling him. And I'm telling y'all, I read the story, but I didn't, because I'm usually the type of person I don't like. I kind of like skim through stories most likely. I read it, but I mostly skim through it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get the key details unless I read it out loud. And I'm not lying to y'all. It's really going fresh. It's going real good. And I'm happy that we finally confronted Hannibal, but I'm not happy that at the same time, we literally, because I thought at first whenever we were like, okay, here's my plan. And I thought we were going to jump out of the window or something that's in our room, I think. And just kind of go through there and then go to Camp Crystal Lake secretly, like no one knows. But she just has, she just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have just said, like, we could have went to the bathroom. Mikael helped us out. We went back and we're like, thanks. And then ask him to go give us some hyposil. He'd go to Hannibal real fast, ask him for some dang hyposil. And then while he did that, we quickly, get dressed, jump out the window, and go to Camp Crystal Lake. Listen, it would have been much more discreet and we wouldn't have any extra issues/problems. So I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. It would have been it's maybe a less thought out plan, some may say, but I think it's a good plan. For sake's sake. Anywho, y'all. Did you guys like the vote, by the way, about the waffles? Let me know, because I just posted that recently on Friday. And if you guys haven't voted, go ahead and vote. I'm curious. I'm generally curious on how you like your waffles. But anyways, you girls gotta go. But before I do, I hope you guys already done this. I hope you already subscribed, and hit that notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. Obviously, the best vids in the world. Just kidding. But now I can finally take my leave. Bye and peace, y'all.